Hello, boys and girls. Today we'll be learning about the U.S. government as a protector. The U.S. government has many different ways that it protects us and provides for us. It provides for us in terms of the Coast Guard and the military and keeping our nation safe. It also has many different bureaus that have been established to help preserve the common good and provide liberty and justice for all. So, some of the different bureaus we're probably familiar with are like the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FDA, or the Department of Food and Drug Administration, also Department of Homeland Security, and other federal agencies. So going forward today in our notes, we're primarily going to be pulling information based off of Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution, which says to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states. So in our notes today, we're going to be looking at what does this mean. So right here at the top of page 148 here, it says what tools does the U.S. government use to oversee and regulate businesses? The first fill in the blank we're going to put down today is laws. So laws are legislative actions that are regulations for businesses written by Congress, such as the Clean Water Act or other bills that have been proposed by Congress and signed into law by the President. Also, there are agencies. These are sections of the executive branch that enforce regulations written by Congress and oversee businesses. There are many different agencies that the executive branch has put together and that help run our country. A few of the ones we're going to look at today are the Environmental Protection Agency, also abbreviated as the EPA. We're going to be looking at the Federal Communications Commission, or the FCC. Also, we're going to look at the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, the Consumer Protect and Safety Commission, or the CPSC, and also the Small Business Administration, or the SBA. These are just a few of the many bureaus that are established in our government in our executive branch. So moving a little bit further down your page here on 148, why does government oversee and regulate business? It's really for two reasons. Number one, to promote marketplace competition, and number two, to protect American citizens. So maybe you ask yourself the question of why is it important for the government to promote marketplace competition? There's a lot of different ways to answer this question, but to put it very simply, what it does is it lowers prices and provides better quality products to consumers. So it will allow businesses to compete for consumer dollars through either putting things on sale, offering incentives, having guarantees, having warranties, and refunds for any defective merchandises. The second reason over here to protect American citizens. So why is it important for the government to protect American citizens? To provide citizens with safe, reliable, and dependable products. When businesses were really getting off the ground in the industrial age back in the early 1900s, there wasn't really a lot of regulations, and so some businesses were doing their production in unfair ways. They had unsafe places for their workers to work. They paid them low wages, and especially in terms of like the meatpacking industry, which was based in Chicago, they packaged meat that was moldy, old, and also unsanitary in its storage. So the government is also really looking out for the welfare of its American people. So going for the next portion here, looking more in detail about promoting marketplace competition. So again, it's to lower prices and provide better quality products to consumers. So what can the government do? Which agency is going to act? To enforce antitrust legislation, or to enforce policies that are going to break up monopolies or not have one business kind of take over a sector of the market. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, will enforce laws to break up monopolies. And it's also going to really try to work in terms of communication with the FCC to enforce laws to break up monopolies in communication businesses. So it's probably why you won't see a merger between companies like Verizon and Sprint or T-Mobile and AT&T, because if those companies would merge with each other, the market, as far as the competitive market, would shrink, and consumers would not have as much competition in the marketplace to choose from, and what will result is higher cost for people to have cell phones and other means of communication. The government also engages in global trade, which means the FTC, so the Federal Trade Commission, will work with international consumer agencies to bring safe products to American consumers. A lot of businesses today have their production based overseas, and these businesses have it based overseas because it allows these companies to make higher profits, because the cost for actually making it, even though it is in places like China or Japan or Taiwan, will obviously be far away. The amount of labor costs that they have to spend over there is substantially less than the labor costs here in America. So many businesses outsource their labor, and the FTC has to work to keep a close eye on that. Also here at the bottom, point 3, the government support business startups. So this means the SBA, or the Small Business Administration, will help small business owners open their businesses. This is primarily for entrepreneurs who are looking to start their business and do not have a lot of capital or don't have a lot of money in the bank to really finance their business and buy equipment and pay their employees and to have a place to set up business, pay rent. So the Small Business Administration offers loans for businesses that take out tens of thousands of dollars to get their businesses started and moving off the ground. Moving on to the other side, to protect American citizens. So again, why is it important for the government to protect American citizens? It provides them with safe, reliable, and dependable products. So the government does a number of things to protect us, and one agency that works with the environment is the EPA. So the EPA enforces laws to keep our ecosystems clean and for businesses to dispose of their waste properly. Back in the day, there was a lot of factories that had set up shop right next to the river, and the easiest way to get rid of their products was to just simply dump it in the river. And unfortunately, what resulted in all these businesses dumping their waste in the river was the rise of toxins, and it pollutes the river, it messes up the fish that live in there, and it makes it unclean for people to eat the fish out of there, or really to spend a lot of time. So regulations by places like the EPA help to ensure that our waterways are kept clean. Second point here, also protecting individual property rights to negotiate contracts, which mean agencies like the U.S. Copyright Office protect your ideas and your property with deeds, titles, trademarks, and other patents. So what the Copyright Office really does is protects your idea for a limited time, really to allow your business to get off the ground and for you to be able to make profit on your idea without having to compete with other people who may think your idea is good as well. And again, you have to be in direct competition with them. So depending on what kind of product you're putting forward will depend on how long the U.S. Copyright Office will keep your exclusive rights to your idea or your product that you're trying to produce. The third point here, establish guidelines that protect public health and safety. So this means the government makes rules for products and agency like the CPSC to identify businesses that sell dangerous products and services. So the government sets up these rules to make sure that when someone buys a product, it's actually something that's safe, that's usable, and that won't have serious problems down the road. So sometimes the government employs other outside agencies as well, to like test out car safety, or to test food products, or other things that people are going to use on a daily basis. The last point here: help citizens take legal action against violations of consumer rights. So they can also help citizens sue when their rights are violated by businesses. For example, every time you turn on a movie of some kind, you're going to see a screen that comes up, and it's going to be the FBI warning. And the FBI warning has a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison and or a $250,000 fine. So the FBI warning helps to protect these movie companies and their intellectual property that they put forward in these films from people who may want to copy it and sell it and make their own profit and not go through the proper channels of making a sale. So now you know a little bit about the government as a protector. I'd like you to flip back in your notes and go to page 147. So there's 3 different scenarios here that I'd really like to take a close look at. Each of these are going to involve something with the U.S. government, so we're going to take a look at that right now. The first little setup that we have here is that ABC News and CNN News want to merge into one big business. So there's a few questions we're going to look at here. First one is, why could this be a problem for the U.S. economy? And one answer could be this. So this would encourage monopolies in the U.S. economy and would not benefit citizens due to the loss of competitive options in the market. By having less news to choose from, this would create a monopoly, and the merging of the news would not allow or promote free press and other points of view from being published. So it's important that we're able to have different ways to express our free speech in a way that's in line with our Constitution and the First Amendment that came to us from our Bill of Rights. Also, what actions should the government take to fix this problem? What they really should do is block the merger and discourage other business from considering other large mergers. Larger mergers like this will only promote a monopoly in the market, and monopolies are going to really destroy competition and in the end be bad for the American consumer. So the agency that would best act to regulate this merger would be the FCC. And what they would be doing is promoting marketplace competition. When businesses compete, you win. And as a consumer, you need to have more options because that will allow you to buy a good product that will help you out. The second point here is Verizon has been dumping broken phones into the Potomac River, causing fish and animals to die. So, why could this be a problem for the U.S. economy? Allowing this problem to persist would encourage other businesses to disregard the ecosystem surrounding their businesses. So, the government should take action to fix this problem, and the EPA will establish and enforce strict guidelines on the disposal of used electronics. So, if there is a company like Verizon, which we know doesn't actually dump broken phones into the river. This is just a hypothetical situation. But if there were companies like Verizon that dump broken phones in the Potomac River, there's probably other companies that dump other phones into other rivers. So the EPA should establish some kind of national guideline so that electronics can be disposed of properly and not harm the ecosystem. Again, the agency that would act against this would be the EPA, and in this instance, the government would be protecting American citizens. The third scenario here is Hollister is having trouble setting up stores in Brazil, even though they want to expand to that country. So why would this be a problem for the economy? Allowing Hollister to set up stores outside the U.S. will encourage businesses to sell and manufacture products outside the United States and may result in unsafe products and could take away jobs from Americans. So what actions should the government take to fix this problem or this potential problem? The FTC, or the Federal Trade Commission, will establish and enforce guidelines for American businesses who desire to move overseas, so American products will be safe for consumers and American job growth will be promoted for its citizens. So again, the Federal Trade Commission should keep a close eye on this, and they should really make sure that any company who desires to go overseas will be able to preserve the integrity of their products and also not unnecessarily take away any potential jobs from Americans. So in this case, the government is promoting marketplace competition. Going forward to the last part here, this is a think about it. So what I'd like you to do is to spend at least, 10 minutes and really think about this. So our U.S. economy has limited government interference, mostly to protect consumers in the American economy. So there are different perspectives on how much government interference is good for the economy. So I want you to consider these two questions, and I really like you to write down a good quality answer. It needs to be at least a solid sentence, if not two, for each of these questions. And then also take a look at the bottom here. So let me walk you through this. Why would it be bad for the U.S. economy if the government didn't make any rules for businesses? That's the first question I'd like you to answer. The second one is, why would it be bad if the government made regulations for businesses about every little issue? So think about that. Also, here, take a look at the bottom, and if you need paper to work on this, or colored pencil, or whatever else you need, let me know. It's going to be on the back table. You're also welcome to use your own supplies. So take a stand and create a political cartoon. Do we need more or less government regulation of the businesses and the U.S. economy today? You can't probably see it too well. I can pull this up for you on the board if you'd like to, but this is actually a picture of the cowboy after OSHA standards, which is really a set of standards that are set up for workers so that they don't get injured on the job. And as we all know, cowboys are, guys who ride a little bit recklessly sometimes on horses. And this standard over here on the right provides almost all the protections that you could think of in the event of any kind of accident that would happen while a person's riding a horse. So a bit exaggerated, but anyway, it's a political cartoon nonetheless. So anyway, think of your own and think of a way that you could illustrate the government as a protector for its citizens. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me today, and I hope you were able to take down some good notes. Please look on your agenda for the next action item to work on, and please feel free to ask me any questions about anything you've watched in this video or any other things you may have thought about as you've learned through this unit. So good luck and have a nice rest of your day.